Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. Your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see here on Watchbox Reviews, our website, or our social media. Reach out to me directly, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. Today, we're discussing the larger of the two brushed silver dial Panerai Luminor Marina watches launched in 2019. There was the 977 and 42 millimeters, and this is the full-size Panerai Luminor 1950 3 days PAM 978. 44 millimeters in stainless steel. It features a full Panerai bracelet, and as you can see, it's thinner than past Panerai Luminor models. That's not to say it's thin, but at 15.5 millimeters thick, it'll fit underneath the jacket cuff. Two different ways to measure this one across the wrist. You can measure it at 53.5 millimeters from lug to lug, or if you include the projections of the bracelet, the end links extend the watch to 57 millimeters across the wrist with a 24 millimeter spacing between the lugs. Let's throw it on the wrist real quick and get a sense of how a full bracelet, full size, 44 millimeter Luminor wears. It's not actually as huge as you'd imagine. In spite of the span with the end links, the thing feels legitimately like a 42 to 44 millimeter watch, not a larger watch. You can also see in profile, it slips surprisingly easily under a cuff for a 15 plus in terms of thickness. I'd say this watch wears thinner than its rated thickness. The watch is substantial. I can feel that there is a lot of sports watch on my wrist, so if you believe that a luxury watch should feel its price, you're going to be very satisfied here, and I can recommend this watch for a lower limit wrist size of 15 centimeters circumference. Let's take a look at the hardware. Full bracelet Panerai watches are not terribly common, and as you can see, one of the recurring motifs in all Panerai design, at least where the Luminor is concerned, we have that crescent-shaped crown guard which forms the primary profile of the main links. You can see, of course, that's derived from the crown guard of the watch itself, and then the individual links are alternately polished and satinated. You can see there's also a little bit of overlap when viewed from the side that gives the bracelet a little bit of a 3D impression. Now you can see that it is sized with pins and sleeves, so you'll need a punch and a block to size this one, but it will stay assembled resolutely. Pin and sleeve bracelets are very tough. That's the upside of that system. You'll also note on the underside there are plenty of gaps between the links to avoid trapping heat, moisture, sweat, and grit on the wrist. Double deployant, full steel, with a twin trigger release system. You can see how this will only pop open when you depress both triggers. So the idea being here, you cannot accidentally pop it open simply by inertia on your wrist during vigorous activity. There is a little bit of a conforming end link profile. You can see how it traces the slope of the lugs as well as the arc of the case. And the Luminor 1950 case, based on the historic reference 6152 model from the 50s, it is a little bit more nuanced than the Alessandro Betterini tuna can case. And as an example, I have precisely that right here. This is the 1990s shape of Panerai, as it was first relaunched as a civilian brand, whereas the Luminor 1950s case, you can see, is far more nuanced. It's a little bit more organic. There are more curves. Now, the watch, of course, includes the crown guard system, and it's all aspect, meaning it gives you more protection than a shouldered crown guard. The locking lever will unlock the watch, which enables you to set the watch and wind the watch. You can see it's 300 meters. In spite of not having a screw-down crown, the locking lever is all you need. Now, because there is a time zone function, I am able to jump the hour hand while the watch continues ticking away. I don't disrupt the seconds hand, the minute hand, and you'll be happy to see that traveling east or west, you can jump the date in either direction. Now, if you do want to stop the movement, the hacking seconds function allows you to stop the seconds hand, and now you can set everything to a reference time. The dial is upscale and unusual. In general, printed dials or sandwich-style stencil dials are Panerai's thing. Here we have all applique metallic indices and tri-Arabic numerals, which give the dial a wonderful depth as well as a shimmering luminous aspect that nicely matches the vertical satin finish of this dial. It looks, for all intents and purposes, like a dial of stainless steel, and it is very attractive. You can also see how the hands at center have been blackened to better pop against that dial base. In the back, we have the second generation. I'll do my best to show it in the light here. The bracelet makes things a bit tougher, though I am a veteran of these. There you go. Okay. Second generation caliber 9000 automatic, still two mainspring barrels, still 3-day power reserve. It is still the time zone function with hacking seconds, and it still beats away at 28,800 vibrations per hour. The 31 joule movement is thinner than in the past. No longer 7.9 millimeters thick, it's now 6 millimeters thick. That makes for a thinner watch. And instead of the single-sided balance cock, we have a full double-sided balance bridge, which makes the free-sprung balance even tougher against shock. And again, all of this manufactured in-house at Panerai's Neuchâtel factory. So this is an all Panerai watch, and a very tough watch, shock resistant, water resistant, and remarkably unusual for a Panerai in its use of a bracelet and the first ever Panerai silver brushed dial. It's also a landmark watch. Email tmosso@thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details of this Panerai Luminor Marina 1953 days PAM00978. And we're back with the Panerai PAM00978 by night.